Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is the various topics dated May 6th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And, I'm just going to speak on a few things. Lord's will to be an edifying lesson. Yesterday I did various topics and I addressed a couple of things that brothers have said that weren't entirely true, and I pretty much hit a couple of points which like I said, I know brothers know better. Sometimes you misspeak when you say certain things, not intentionally, of course. And whenever something like that comes up and it could be vague, that serves for the ability to edify, for edification purposes, and it's good to address these things because it gives a more broader understanding on certain points. The elder Manata Zagba, from the South Carolina camp, pretty much the lesson that I did, I focused somewhat on something that he had said, which like I said, I know that the elder knows that that Jake actually had a hand in putting Yahushua to death. They didn't physically put the nails in him, but they might as well, or the what you call it, the stake, for lack of better words. But they pretty much had the power to say yay or nay, because Pontius Pilate, after he, told him what he told him, he washed his hands. He gave him over to them. So although we know the Romans physically put the stakes through his hands and his feet, pierced him, Jake pretty much ultimately had a hand in doing that. And a few other things that I spoke about, that I said I would address certain things today. But like I said, I know that the elder didn't do that on purpose. I know he didn't say those things on purpose. And when I went back and I listened, I didn't go back and listen to it, but I kind of, I did. I went back and listened to it, and he covered it. So I just wanted to just make mention of that. So really not too much more to say on that. But recently we've been talking about just different things, and the civil rights movement, came up, creeping up in different conversations. And what you see going on right now with the whole thing about the small hats with the anti-Sem, well, when the whole civil rights movement was being established, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the NAACP goes all the way back to 1909, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see something. Let me just see something. Just bear with me. Right. It goes back to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. NAACP is a civil rights organization in the United States formed in 1909 as an international endeavor to advance justice for African Americans. Then it gives you a list of members that were a part of it, but they didn't establish this. It was the small hats that established it. All right. Now when we go to, I typed in small hat, you could see what I typed: small hat members of the civil rights movement. Small hat activists have played significant roles in the civil rights movement, including founding the NAACP in 1909, along with African American activists. Some of these activists include Julius Rosenthal, which is small hat, Lillian Wald, small hat, Rabbi MLG, small hat, Hirsch, Stephen Wise, and Henry Moskowitz, which are small hats. Now, why did they establish this? Because they saw, the plight of Jake, and they saw a way for them to get, legislation passed for Jake so that they can in turn jump in there afterwards and get up in there. Now, if you notice, matter of fact, there's a little bit more down here. It says several prominent small hat leaders, such as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Herschel and Jack Greenberg, marched alongside figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and also contributed significant to landmark legal victories. Now, why did they do that? Because they knew these landmark legal victories would be able to be used later for themselves, such as now today. Now that all the hard work is done, because I don't recall any small hats getting beat on the streets. I don't recall any small hats had dogs sicked on them in the streets, had the hoses, blaring at them, water hoses. I don't recall seeing any of them getting beat by billy clubs and arrested and spit on and beat down in the streets. Now, I did type in, did any of the small hats get arrested, during that time? And, it came up that some of them did, but, you have to make it look good, right? So they were the spearhead, of this NAACP movement, because eventually these different decisions and laws that are in the books would be used for themselves later on, as you see today, the anti-Sem situation. If you speak about, if you say something they don't like, if you scratch your nose the wrong way, you're an anti-Sem individual. So, we know that all this stuff is bullshit, because in order for them to get any type of sympathy from the people, which people are already hip to them, a lot of people are hip to them, they have to make shit up. They have to say, well, we heard, this woman heard that there was possibly a situation where there was an anti-Sem situation going on. Because I mentioned it from time to time, there was a documentary that came out in 2009 by Yoav Shamir, I believe it was. It was called Defamation, I believe it was. And he was going to the different offices where the ADL was located and, asked them, to give him some examples of any anti-Sem activity. And they couldn't. They had to make the shit up, Well, somebody thought they heard somebody say, come on, man, that's bullshit. But it was set up that way on purpose. Let's see, the brother put in, let me see something. Brothers, Shalom, Elder Apostle, Shalom, brother, the two knows people in Mississippi burning that got erased with Jake. They included them to align with Jake plight, unless the knows people made that story up. Yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to have, a certain bullshit in there, like when they got arrested. But like I said, I didn't see them getting beat in the streets. See civil rights online etymology, specifically of black U.S. citizens from 1966 to reference to the Civil Rights Bill, an act of Congress which conferred citizenship upon all persons born in the United States. Right, because that's the point. The point is use a particular group to do all the legwork, and then it could be extended to the ones that really started it from the grassroots. Let's see what else we got. Civil rights online etymology. Okay, we just read that. United States not subject of other powers of every race and color with regard to any previous condition of slavery. Yeah, so pretty much they use that as a catapult for themselves. And you can see that they're all up in that now, because they don't have to get, beat down in the streets. Jake got all that done. Now, like the brother put, there was a situation where two of them got deleted. That could have been, done as a cover story, or it could have actually happened, and maybe those two, really were feeling for the plight of Jake, and they might have been Jakes themselves. Who knows? Remember, We always say that among these small hats, you have Jakes among them, you know. But after Jake does all the hard work, then they come in because really they're the wicked. You know, the Edomites are the wicked. You know, they are prospering in this world, but they'll make it seem to the world that they're doing bad, because that's what the devil does. He's a deceiver. So when we read in Psalm 73, I'm going to start at the point. I start at 3. There's a few points in here when it hit. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." And they are the ones that are prospering in the world. You know, when you look at the Diamond District, you look at anything concerning these small hats, they're at the forefront of making, they want all the shekels, okay? They're at the forefront of making everything. They're in the forefront of getting paid off for everything. You know, the international banking families, you know, they're small hats. And they'll say, well, it's not a small hat conspiracy because you have some that are not there from this place and they're, you know, European and then this and then that. First of all, these devils have changed their names to assimilate into different, you know, ethnicities. All right. I believe in the movie Lord of War with this guy, what's his name? Nicolas Cage, right? He and his family in the movie were small hats, and they had changed their names. I forget to what type of sounding names, you know, to assimilate better, you know, into society. And that's what they do, because they know that the history of the small hats is a very demonic history, and it's a very it's a history of oppression of other peoples. All right. And they do that to get away from that so-called small hat name, you know, so that they can, but they can't get away from that nose, boy. It says, "For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm." Now, this is the point here. They are not in trouble as other men. Let's look up this word trouble. They are not in trouble as other men. Let's see what it says. Trouble. Okay, that the word is aimal. Ooh, that's a cold cut. That's a cold cut. That's a cold cut. All right, so I gotta remember these two. Okay, now check it out. It says they are not in trouble as other men. Now, when we look up the word trouble, it's the word aimal, which is the same word that's used in Job 20 when it speaks about the wicked, every hand of the wicked against them. It's not talking about wicked. You know, this word here is talking about toil, trouble, laborers. Trouble, mischief, toil, labor. So they're not in trouble as others. In other words, they're not in hardships as others are. All of that stuff you see about the poor, them poor and all that, that's all bullshit. When you watch that movie back in, I believe that was 1934, I think it was called The Rothschilds, if I'm not mistaken. They show you in that movie how they were well-to-do. They were doing good. But then when the assessors would come, you know, to assess, you know, to find out, you know, to run an audit on them, what they would do is they would put torn, tattered clothes. They would hide all the, you know, the nice stuff that they had, you know, and act like they were poor. You see? And that's exactly what they do. You know, and you'll see stuff like that, and they say, "Oh, you guys always reference the movies," because that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. But then they'll make it seem to the world that they're poor. Why? Because they're trying to paint the picture that they're going through the struggles and the hardships that Jake is going through. You know, and notice that after the civil rights movement, when Jake was the one really catching the beat downs and all of that and being arrested mostly, you know, then all of a sudden now you fast forward it 50 years later, you know, and now they're using the same, you know, platform that was already set up for themselves, because that's what their plans were all along. You know, somebody could say, "Well, no, that's not true." That's true. You could accept it, believe it or not. All right. And how do we know? Because look at the fruits of it today. You know, all this time that Jake been going through hell in this country, they ain't got no laws in the books, you know, black laws. You know, they ain't got none of that shit in the books, you know, to protect them. If you say something about, because all these nations, all they do is talk shit about Jake. How come none of them are getting arrested and put in jail for life for doing that? because they're not in trouble as other men. They don't toil like other men. They're not in trouble like other men. Matter of fact, all they do is rob. Thief cometh not before to steal and to kill and to destroy. That's all they do. That's what their whole life has been about. Nothing but a bunch of goddamn parasites. Sucking the life out of everyone, sucking the creativity out of everyone, and acting like they came up with it, and then establishing themselves, and running things as if they're the ones that came up with all these ideas. It's fucking amazing. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Right. It says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. And you see them. Them devils are proud as hell. And they really believe in their heart of hearts that they're the people. And now the higher ups that are in the know, they know better. They know that they're not the people. But they're not going to tell them that. It says their eyes stand out with fatness. Right, this is a good one right here. Let me read this one. Psalms 37:35, the brother from the down under. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading themselves like a green bay tree. I'll wait for him to put the next verse. So they're in great power. Back in Psalm 73:7, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart can wish. Yeah, that's why you go down to the diamond district, which diamonds are beneficial. They have a use for them, but they're not as precious as they make them to seem. But they're controlling all of that. Excuse me. Salakia. Verse 36, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. All right, so pretty much the Lord is he set them up to take them down, but they are in great power, but eventually they're going to be brought down. This is good. This is a good one too. The wicked, Psalms 10:2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Beautiful. Verse 37 in Psalms 37. Mark the perfect man and behold the upright. For the end of that man is peace. That's right. It says the wicked, but the transgressor shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen, because they were the only nation that were established to be totally annihilated and destroyed. Now notice when the Lord sent the Israelites in to take the land of Canaan, he told them to destroy everybody, man, woman, and children. But Jake then destroyed them because the Lord didn't want them all to be destroyed. Even though he gave the order to destroy them, obviously the Lord wanted the Hamites, the Canaanites, to still be here. Otherwise, he would have put the spirit on Jake to annihilate every single one of them, because their curse was not to be totally annihilated. Their curse was to be servants under Israel. You see, the only nation that was said to be totally annihilated and destroyed was the nation of Esau, and Amalek being their top is going to be the ones that's going to be annihilated the most, because they are the worst of the heathen. They are the worst of the heathen. They are the top demons of the Edomites. They are the top wicked. Out of all the Edomites, they are the top wicked, the synagogue of wickedness. So back in Psalm 73:8, they are corrupt, see, and speak wickedly concerning oppression. Right? They speak loftily, and you see that. Oppression, when we look up the word oppression, right, you can be oppressed by someone beating you. You could be oppressed by someone, constantly, bothering you, or you could be oppressed by somebody financially. And that's how they've pretty much oppressed the world financially. That's where the Lord, through the mouth of James, cursed out them rich men, which are the international bankers, which are, small hats. I shock. All right. It says oppression, extortion, injury. Oppression, extortion, gain by extortion. See, so it could be done through injury, beat down, put in jail, constantly, talking shit about you, or because it says that we are taken up as infamy. Matter of fact, Let me get that one real quick. Infamy of the people. I know that's in Ezekiel. Yep, that's it right there. Right, so it says injury or extortion, oppression. Extortion is when you're how can I put it? Right, taking somebody's money through force or threat. You know, that's extortion, and that's how they do it. So how is this done? Through the system that they put in place. Let's just deal with America. The Federal Reserve System. They put that on the people, and the people have to comply. Otherwise, they get put in prison for not paying their taxes. And matter of fact, that goes all the way back to the victory tax, which happened during World War II, which they set up a time where they had people pay taxes just to help fund the war. And after World War II, they were supposed to take that off the books, but they didn't. They left it on the books. And people to this day are paying that victory tax, which was only supposed to be done during the time of World War II. And those are the unrighteous decrees that these devils have put into place. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievances which they have prescribed, right? Because they passed this legislation, into the books, and therefore using it to pretty much oppress the people. All right, and these small hats are implicit in that. That's why they're the heads of everything now. They're in all different seats in government. They're in the seats of these of the Federal Reserve and all different places of authority. Because the whole plan for them, for the Americas, for them was to set up their new world order and to make a world for themselves, for their people. All right. So let me get rid of, let me leave that just in case. So going back, you get fucking disgusted, Psalm 7, like right now I just feel disgusted. Psalm 73:8, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They speak, like with a stretched forth neck. And you see these devils when you see them. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Right, they set their mouth against the heavens because they talk shit about the Most High. You heard that devil Yuval Harari, Noah Harari, or whatever the hell his name is. We can piss off God as much as we want, because now they have the technology to pretty much do what they got to do to be able to survive. But they don't know that the Most High is going to fuck their ass up. Yeah, beautiful. This is another good one. Job 5:3. I have seen the foolish taken root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. That's right. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the NLT, but I'd be leery sometimes about, the other translations. Even though they have some good, like this is good translation. You got to be careful when you use those translations. Make sure it's saying what it's supposed to be saying. Isaiah 10:1. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. Right, that's good. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Right, because they're liars, and they're the father of lies, and then they push their lies upon the earth. And the majority of people on the earth at one time were taken. That's why it says that they wandered after the beast. It says, therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them, right? Because, eventually they're going to be dealt with, but they get the benefit of everything. This is why they want to put everything online, make everything digital, because they have the world, they have the riches. I mean, they have riches. They could never spend those riches in 1, 2, 10, 100 lifetimes, but it's not enough. The scriptures say that they're greedy. They could never have enough. So they just keep taking and taking and taking and taking till there's nothing to take. That's why Yahweh said, except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Because if you let these devils continue to rule, then they'll destroy everything, everybody, including themselves. Because they're wasters, they're destroyers, Now we know that Isaiah 54:16, the waster to destroy, talk about the missiles, but Esau is a waster. That's why they call him the harbinger of death in the Planet of the Apes, the first one. He is the harbinger of death. He brings nothing but death. No, bring him out, brother. Bring him out. Bring him out. No, Salaki, nothing. That's the spirit. Matter of fact, this is Job 21:16. Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. Yep, that's right. It says, how oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them? The Most High distributive sorrows in his anger. That's right. And the elder Hawad, he put Psalm 73 and 8 and 9. And this is what we're reading right now. Yep, this is a good one too. Job 27 and 14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Yeah, because it will be eventually destroyed. Job 21 and 18. They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away. Yep, that's right. Let's see. Psalms 140 verse 1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. Yeah. Because the only way that we're going to be protected is by the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's why it says that when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Let's see. The Most High, Job 21:19. The Most High layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. Yeah. Because their children are being, prepared for the slaughter. Why? Because they are the fathers coming back. And that's what these devils, like vocab, don't want to accept. They don't want to accept reincarnation, because they know if they accept reincarnation, then scriptures like this will come to life, which they are anyway through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai by his prophets. They don't want to acknowledge reincarnation, because they know the history of Esau, and they know what they've done just on this side of the world. And they know that if they acknowledge reincarnation, that they will have to pay for it. But you still got to pay for it anyway, whether you choose or whether you refuse. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Most High forbid. Let the Most High be true, and every man a liar, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and overcome when thou art judged. And that's why we when we speak, we go into the scriptures. Never mind all of the emotions and all of that we may hold in the anger and all that. It's all about the precepts and the scriptures, because when you come with the scriptures, they can't gainsay that. Yahweh said, I will give you a mouth of wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to gainsay nor resist. That's why we have to stand upon these things. And you've heard Elder Pastor say to you, if these small hats come up, if they come up asking questions, you give it to them according to the scriptures. But if they don't say nothing, they walking, let them walk down the street. Don't even stop them. Don't talk to them. Because all of this shit that has been going on since the civil rights movement was established was all set up for them. Jake just happened to be the catalyst that they could use, to get this legislation passed in the books so that they could use it for themselves. And you see that happening right now. Because how many times have they, Jake been talked about and like, oh, matter of fact, let's get that in the lips of talkers, and how many laws have been passed, were so-called anti-black laws. And if you say something about Jake, if you rub them the wrong way, if you look at them funny or whatever, you speak about their religion, you're going to be put in jail. No, you don't. That shit ain't never happened. But meanwhile, Jake caught the lion's share of the beatdowns during the so-called civil rights movement. They got sprayed with water hoses. They got beat with batons. They got put in jail. They got dogs sicked upon them. They got spit upon. They got beat up by mobs of Edomites on the streets. Small hats didn't do that. And the one incident that the brother put out there, like I said, we don't know the whole history on that, and the ones that got arrested, of course, Martin Luther King got arrested for what? For a show. He didn't get it. They told, look, Marty, you're gonna get beat upside the head, you're gonna get put in prison, but don't worry about it. We're gonna get you out. We have to make it look good. So this is Ezekiel 36 and 3. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, because they have made you desolate, meaning you Edomites, and swallowed you up on every side, that you may be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. Yeah, because the land of Israel was possessed by these devils. And today they have Jake in captivity. And you are taken up in the lips of talkers. So how come they're not making laws to arrest people for speaking up against Jake and talking shit about Jake and calling Jake the N-word and all other kind of shit? Weren't they the ones that were for lack of better word, the subject of the civil rights movement? So how come Jake went through the civil rights movement, but now the small hats are getting the benefits of all of those laws that were put into the books? Think about it. And you are taken up in the lips of talkers and are an infamy of the people. And we've been talking about that for years. For years. And I'm just saying it that way for a reason. We've been talking about this for years. I know me personally, I've done videos on this years ago on the civil rights movement and in the BS that came behind it. All right? And you are taken up in the lips of talkers and are an infamy of the people. So how come they're not making laws to arrest people for talking against Jake? For talking against Gad or any of the other tribes? Huh? Why is it that, the world suffers, but all the benefits go to the small hats? Something's wrong there. If they're supposed to be the people that are catching hell and being persecuted all the time, why are they always the ones on the receiving end of all the benefits? Think about it. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, power to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate waste and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and a derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Because they're the ones on top right now. Remember, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. And that's what they've done. With despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey, right? Because they're in that land now. And now I was listening to, I'm not sure that, man, you watch so many different videos sometimes. I'm not sure if that was anonymous something or another video I was watching yesterday where the individual was speaking about how that whole situation between, the small hats and Iran was set up because, Iran really didn't strike any major, places. They said that they got their missiles pointed, in the desert in Dimona, down there. You see, so they're saying that America has funded a lot of Iranian, a lot of situations with Iran, so that was just a big ploy, So I mean, we'll see for sure, but we know spiritually in prophecy, that the Lord is going to use the small hats to get America involved in this third world war. So whether in pretense or in sincerity, the prophecies are going to be fulfilled regardless. Because on the big scale of things, the world leaders are in bed with America and with the international banking families. But eventually, the Lord is going, as the elder Yashawamba says, he's gonna slap the remote control out of Esau's hand, because he gave it into their hand for the time being. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, but it's the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai moving the pieces around on the chessboard. All right, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man understand his own ways? So going back to Psalm 73 and 11 now, and they say, how doth the Most High know, and is there knowledge in the Most High? Right, because they're so bold that they speak against the Most High. There's no fear of the Lord in their hearts. So how could they be the people of the Most High when they have no fear in their heart? They have no compassion. They have no remorse. They don't have any emotions towards the Lord. They don't have what's the word I'm looking for? Jake will do something and then they'll grow a conscience. They don't have any conscience. They're just automatons of no feelings. They're soulless devils. Hey, the soul which is lifted up in them is not upright. It says, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. So what you have to do is read this and look on the planet, and who does this fit? Does this fit the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians? No. It fits them small hats. It fits Esau, the international banking families, these people that are well-to-do, that tripled, quadrupled their wealth while the rest of the world suffered. And the calamity of the world became the riches, more riches to the international bankers. They like tripled or more than tripled their wealth since 2020. Come on, man. No, man, see, you going off, man. The white man, they're not the devil. They ain't talking about them. It didn't say white man there. It said ungodly, brother. Fucking dickheads. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. And Asaph felt that way. And sometimes, you do feel that way. Say, God damn, man. Apostle Gabar says this all the time. It seems like the Lord, he's saying it, facetiously, of course. Seeing like the Lord blesses the wicked and he, puts hell on the righteous, which he does. And that's why, in several places it says, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and rebuketh often. But this is what Asaph was feeling. Like, damn, man, here it is. These motherfuckers are wicked as hell and they prospering. And here it is, I'm doing my best. I'm repenting to the Lord. I'm humiliating myself, humbling myself, And it seemed like I'm catching hell and they doing better. So damn, did I do all this in vain? But it's not. It says, for all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, right, in other words, speaking to Jake about Esau and the things that Esau is doing and how they're the wicked, it says, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children, right? Because they get offended when you speak against Esau. You can speak about any nation on the planet, curse them out or whatever, but when you come speaking about Esau, Jake will come to Esau's defense in a hurry. It's like, God damn, bruv. Shit. When I thought to notice, it was too painful. Yeah, because here it is, I'm catching hell. I'm humbling myself to the Lord, and I'm catching more hell. These devils they don't have no regard for the Lord. They prospering, and I'm trying to tell Jake about it, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. It's just too much. It says, until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High, then understood I their end, right? Because then eventually when the Lord brought us into the truth, then we understood that, the Lord is setting them up like this because eventually he's going to take them down. And then you start to understand why, because our eyes are open to the mysteries of the scriptures, and to who the Edomites are, and who all the people of the scriptures are, and, that we are the Israelites. And what? We never would have thought that, because we was out there in the world just asked out, generation after generation being taught that we was nothing, being raised in the ghettos and the barrios and in the hoods, favelas and the shanty towns and all these different places, in poverty pretty much, struggling. So we thought that was just our way of life. And this is why Jake, not knowing, get into these different, entertainment, or get into the entertainment industry, because they see, other Jakes out there prospering and say, well, you know what, this is my way out. And then come to find out that once they cross a certain threshold, they have to do certain things. And this is why certain Jakes rather hold on to their integrity and their relationship with the Most High than to sell out. But a lot of them sell out. They don't give a shit. And then you see like, damn, this ain't, this is hell. Here it is, you have a talent, you're able to elevate out of your situation, and make money. But what happens is that the gatekeepers that are there, they're set up to pretty much make sure that if you want to prosper and you want to get into those different groups of making money, you got to do this evil, wicked shit and sell your soul. which none of us knew about that. That didn't come till later. It's like, oh shit, But the scriptures say that when Yahushua was being tempted of Satan, Satan showed him all the kingdoms of the world. He said, look, these will be yours if you bow down to me and worship me. And Yahushua cursed him out. Get thee behind me, Satan. So that's just it, man. But their end is destruction. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Why? Because, they're prospering. But they don't understand that prospering is making them become even more and more proud. And as they become more and more proud, they overstep their boundaries. And that's going to lead to their destruction because they're going full steam ahead, with this New World Order agenda. And that New World Order, once it's fully established, that's when the Lord said he's going to bring it down. So when they're about to fill their belly, then shall the Lord cast the furious wrath upon them while he is eating. So that means they're going to get to a certain point. But then the Lord's going to take them down. And you see the direction the world is going in. Who the fuck can survive the shit that's coming? If it wasn't for the Lord, man, we'd be destroyed. Had not been for the Lord, man, who showed us mercy, then would we have been destroyed. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou castedest them down into destruction. Because that same position they were put in, once they make their certain moves, that's what's going to utterly destroy them. How are they brought into desolation? As in a moment, they are utterly consumed with terrors, right? Because the first step is when Yahushua comes back with the angels, destroy Esau's system. And the elite, so-called elite, are going to be hiding in the bunkers, And when they go to hiding in them bunkers, eventually they're going to be visited in those bunkers. Let's go to Isaiah first. And from that point on, what happens? They're going to go right into captivity. See, and they don't, even though they put this in movies, they read about it, their scholars search this thing out, they know it's coming, but there's like a blinder on them. They say, nah, this, the Lord ain't going to do that. They're in derision. You know what? Isaiah 2nd chapter. Isaiah chapter 2. And boom, right here, 2 and 17. Bear with me 1 second. Let me get a little bit of this water. All right. Isaiah 2 and 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low. And the Lord Yahweh, by Shem Shai, alone shall be exalted in that day. And that begins with his name and his son's name, Yahweh and Yahushai. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, right? All of these different religions, because people are not physically, in most cases, bowing down to an actual idol, even though some of them still are. But the idols and the stones and the rocks are a representation of these different religions. And they, meaning the international bankers, shall go into the holes of the rocks. What is that? These are their shelters. And into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai. Why? Because the Lord is going to destroy this place. And for the glory of his majesty, that's when he sends Yahushua and the angels, when he arises to shake terribly the earth, right? Because the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. So this is why there's no coincidence. These devils know that. There's no coincidence why they got, these different shelters in mountains, underground, in underwater. But they don't understand that that's going to be, that's as far as their New World Order is going to go. And then the Israelites are going to be coming. The Israelites are coming. They're going to kick down the door. They're going to be waving the scepter, not the 4-4. They're going to be waving the scepter, and that's it. And they're going to be like, please, Master, don't beat us no more. And that's just going to make us even more mad. In that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. To go into the earth, they're going to forsake those idols. To go into the clefts of the rocks. Why? Because they have their bomb shelters and they think they're going to be safe there. because they've tested different things out. They have the ventilation set up for 2 years, 3 years, however long it is. They got, luxuries up in there. They got luxury apartments. They got their internets and all that stuff hooked up. They got all their different devices in there. They're going to have their servants there. They got the best wine, the best food, everything. They got everything down there. They got, the aquaponics set up, with different vegetation growing, from water and air and all that shit. But they don't understand that that's going to be it. So they better enjoy that. That's as good as it's going to get. And then once, the smoke clears, them doors come kicking in, then they're going to be carted off into slavery in chains. And into the tops of the ragged rocks for fear of the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. Remember, it said it twice. Cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostril, for wherein is he to be accounted of? Right, and this goes hand in hand with Revelation 6, and it also goes hand in hand with another scripture in Isaiah 24. And this is what we're waiting for. Matter of fact, let me just pull up this precept here, and let me get let me leave that because I might go back to that. Let's get Revelation, because this devil vocab try to say that no, that's not what this is talking about. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, waiting to put those into captivity that put us into captivity. Scripture said they shall rob those that rob them. All right. So I don't give a damn what that devil vocab says. That's what it means. No, that means that those that are going to go into, no. You reap what you sow. He that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. You damn devil. And he like Apostle Tar pointed out, he read Matthew, 11:11, and didn't read on. Because he knew he would have got cut. Damn devil, deceitful bastard. Isaiah 24 and 20, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. From what? From the missiles pelting down upon it. That's going to be that great earthquake in the book of Revelation. And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. Why? Because that's why the Lord is judging it. Because just like he judged the first world, with the flood, because the earth was wicked, men were wicked. The same thing today, but it's even further, it's even more wicked in these times. And it shall fall and not rise again. In other words, their established system and the nation's established system is going to fall and never rise again. They're not going to be in power anymore. There shall be no more sea. In other words, there's not going to be any more nations ruling. It's just going to be the nation of Israel, beginning with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, which are what? That's the international banking families and their minions. Because I brought this out before. Now, it seems like the IUIC is starting to use this scripture, which I've never heard anybody go into it. I mean, I could be wrong. I never heard anybody go into this. They didn't mention the Greek word, of course, because it would have been obvious. But I never heard anyone say about here, the rulers of the darkness of this world, that this is talking about the international bankers. And they're kind of starting to use that. So I remember when I first went into this word, it was like, oh snap, that's talking about the international bankers. Let's read this. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers. So this is talking about we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers. This is talking about angels, hierarchy of demons. And these international bankers, they pray to these demons, and they have these demons do certain things, right? It says, then here it says, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, which is who? The international banking families. When we go to that word, rulers of the darkness of this world, let's see, rulers, the word for rulers there is cosmokrator. Cosmos is organization, and krator is to rule, or to make. Lord of the world, prince of this age. See, that's dealing with the international banking families. The devil and his demons, which you have spiritual demons, but you also have actual people on the planet that are the seed of Esau, that are the seed of the devil, that are the wicked. And they are ruling in this society. This is why it's ruled the way it is. But then they'll make it seem dark and mysterious. And they won't allow people to actually see everything that goes on behind the scenes. And if you expose it, they put you to death, or they make you look like a lunatic. Those different parties that people go to. The so-called elite have the same shit, where they wear the mask. They'll have robes on, butt naked underneath, and they'll have orgies. Men on men, women on women. Swapping. Wife swapping, and all that bullshit. That shit goes on. That's why they killed Stanley Kubrick when he brought out that movie Eyes Wide Shut, and that scene where it showed you everybody dressed in different colored robes, and there was all kind of sexual immorality going on throughout the different scenes. That actually happens. And this is what they invite these jakes in the entertainment system, entertainment world to, because if they do that, then they know they've got them on film. So if they try to expose them, they get put on Front Street. And notice, out of all of that shit, none of the top elite, so-called elite, are ever brought up on charges on that or ever exposed on that. It's always the minions, the lesser luminaries, the different, so-called celebrities that are always being put out on Front Street for these immoral things that the international banking families push and do. All right. So it says, Isaiah 24:21, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. This is the ultimate. And shall you shut up in prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Yeah, because their prison is going to be what? Slavery, captivity. All right. And then, it goes on and on and on. You go to Revelation 6, that's another one. You go to Psalms 149th chapter, that's another one. That tells you that these kings, their rulers, are going to be put in chains. What is a representation of that? It's going to be physical chains they're going to be put in, because they're going to be in slavery and captivity. Matter of fact, let's go to Revelation chapter 2. And we can start at 25. But that which you have already hold fast till I come. Right, because remember, the Lord, the Most High, told Yahushua to sit on his right hand till he what? Till he make his enemies his footstool. So one of the things that Yahushua had to suffer, going through that great sacrifice for us to redeem us back to the Father, was also to cement his position on the right hand of the Most High and wait up in the heavens until the Lord Yahweh sends him back, so that he can take Esau down and all of the different nations and have them under his foot. All right, that's what he's waiting for. And we, being joint heirs with him, we're going to receive the same reward. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, see, is not him that endureth for a while, he that endureth to the end. To him will I give power over the nations. Just like he got power over the nations, that's what we're going to get, power over the nations, if we endure to the end. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And it means just that. No, that don't mean, they just, if they go slightly off, he's just going to tap them, and get them back. No. The rod of iron is going to come down crashing upon these heathens. Goddamn false prophet 666 talking about, that's just if they go out, they're just going to tap them and get them back. No. That's going to it's going to be set up to crash over their head when they go off. Where we at? Micah chapter 4 and verse 11. Now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. And that's what they do. That's why they'll sell you pork fried rice, shrimp fried rice, all these different abominations. Them goddamn Ishmaelites know you ain't supposed to eat pork, but then they'll sell Jake ham sandwiches. They'll sell them pork chops. They'll sell them all kind of abominations. You see? The fucking gooks, the Moabites, Esau, them small hats. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Yeah, because they don't understand that the reason why we're going through what we're going through is because the Lord allowed it. But the Lord is in our favor, because eventually he's going to redeem us. Neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as it sheaves into the floor. Right, because these nations are going to be gathered. Remember, the Lord said, my determination is to gather the nations, that I should pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion. Why? Matter of fact, before I read on, let me get rid of this. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 25 and just go straight to the point, verse 14. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom, the head nation of these heathens, of these demons, by the hand, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. They're going to get busted up. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So the Lord is going to use Jake as his battle axe and weapons of war. You know? So back in Micah 4:13, arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion. What does it mean to thresh? It means to beat. For I will make thine horn iron. See, I will make your horn iron, and I will make thy hoof brass. And thou shalt beat in pieces many people. So that rod of iron is going to be actually used. And I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. So here it is. This is a fucking amazing. These fucking devils and these nations done fucked this up. I mean, they did all kind of manner of evil, wicked shit to us, but yet they get a pass, or they're just gonna get tapped, you know, with the rod, and they're just gonna get tapped in case they get out. No, motherfucker. They're gonna get fucked up. Shit is fucking amazing, man. You motherfuckers, man. You goddamn sinful ass motherfuckers, man. Sometimes I wish we could throw your ass in a pit with Esau, man. You motherfuckers. And thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Yeah, and we're going to get all of their riches. We want all the money. Oh, man. Oh, man, the Lord's going to do work on you motherfuckers, man. He going to serve you up like beans and rice. So going back to Psalm 73 and 20, as a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Right, because the Lord's going to fuck Esau up. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. So foolish was I, yeah, because you feel like, damn, now I understand that they're going to get it. You know, and I was, so foolish was I, and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. Yeah, because the Lord revealed the truth to us as a comfort. That's what the scriptures say, that the scriptures are the comforter. Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterward receive me to glory. Right, because we're going to be glorified. You know, the same way we were, brought down to shame, we're going to be glorified in the eyes of these nations once again. Whom have I in heaven but thee? And there is none upon earth that I desire beside thee. My flesh and my heart faileth, but the Most High is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. For lo, they that are far from thee shall perish. Thou hast destroyed all them that go a-whoring from thee. But it is good for me to draw near to the Most High. I have put my trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that I may declare all thy works. And that's what we're doing. We're declaring all the works of the Lord and letting these heathens know what's coming for their ass. And you wicked as Israelites out there, you're going to be destroyed. You 2/3 in America, you're going to get fucked up too. I don't care what Elazar says. All right, the 2/3 and the 1/3 is here in America. Zechariah 13:8 and 9. All right, so with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.